So I work in marketing, which I love, but my first passion was physics. A passion brought to me by a wonderful school teacher when I had a little less grey hair. So he taught me that physics is cool because it teaches us so much about the world around us. And I'm going to spend the next few minutes trying to convince you that physics can teach us something about marketing. So quick show of hands. Who studied some marketing at university? Who studied some physics at university? Ooh, pretty good. At a school? OK, lots of you. So hopefully this will bring back some happy or possibly some slightly disturbing memories. So physics and marketing. We'll start with something very simple. Newton's law. The force equals mass times acceleration. This is something that perhaps Turkish Airlines should have studied a bit more carefully before they ran this campaign. But if we rearrange this formula quickly, we can get to acceleration equals force over mass, which means that for a larger particle, a larger mass, it requires more force to change its direction. It's the same with brands. The more massive a brand, the more baggage it has, the more forces need to change its positioning. And that's one of the reasons why Arthur Andersen chose to launch Accenture rather than try to persuade the world that Andersons could stand for something other than accountancy. It explains why Hoover found it very difficult to persuade the world that it was more than vacuum cleaners, and why companies like Unilever and P&G keep brands separate like Ariel and Pringles and Dove rather than having one giant parent brand. So the physics is that the bigger the mass of an object, the more force is needed to change its direction. The marketing is that the bigger a brand, the more difficult it is to reposition it. So think about a portfolio of brands, or maybe new brands for new ventures. Now, who remembers Heisenberg's uncertainty principle? Getting a little more technical now. So this says that it's impossible, by definition, to measure exactly the state, i.e. the position and the momentum of a particle, because the act of measuring it, by definition, changes it. So to explain that, if you've got an elementary particle and you shine a light on it, then the photon of light has momentum, which knocks the particle, so you don't know where it was before you looked at it. By measuring it, the act of measurement changes it. The act of observation changes it. It's the same in marketing. So the act of observing consumers changes their behavior. Think about the group of mums who are talking about their wonderful children in a focus group, and almost none of them buy lots of junk food. And yet McDonald's sells hundreds of millions of burgers every year. Think about the people who are on accompanied shops in supermarkets who stuff their trolleys full of fresh fruit, green vegetables and fruit, but don't shop like that any other day. And if you think about the number of people who claim in surveys to regularly look for porn on the web,